Good morning, climbers and people of Adventure Rock. I'm Alex. I'm here to do some functional exercises for you. Functional exercises, anything that makes you better at what you want to do every day. So it can be anything between making standing and sitting and working at your desk a little bit more comfortable. It could be making your climbing stronger or more stable. It could include increasing your range of motion, your flexibility, your strength, your endurance, really whatever you need to improve at. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to work on a little bit of mobility, a little bit of core, and a little bit of strength. And so what you're going to need today, you're going to need something that you can hold in your arms kind of far apart, whether it is a dowel or a band works great too, or even a towel. And next, if you don't have anything like that, you can just do regular shoulder rotations. In the last set of exercises, you're also going to need something that you can slide across the floor on, whether it's a sock that'll slide on the tile or a towel that'll slide on the tile, or if you're on carpet, a nice furniture slider, or I have a Frisbee works great too. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment box or shout out to those of us that have been shrunk afterwards. The last thing you're going to need is something that has a little bit of mass to it. Actually, grab two things. One that's like kind of heavy, but you could hold it for a while, and one that's got some mass to it, but is relatively light. Okay, so we're going to start with shoulder rotations. What we're going to do is, if you're grabbing a band, grab it so that you have to rip it apart a little bit to get to a nice wide position. Otherwise, grab nice and far apart on a bar. We're going to do what I call shoulder dislocates. We're going to get our bodies nice and tall. You can do this in a kneeling or standing position, your choice. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands, push your fists as far away from your shoulders as possible without shrugging forward. Raise your hands up high. Let your hands come down behind you and drop down to waist level. The whole time we're keeping our shoulders. We're going to keep moving through this over and over. We're keeping our shoulders strong and stable, keeping our elbows straight, and we're pushing our fists as far from our shoulders as possible the whole time. We want to keep our abdomen engaged. Keep moving, nice and smooth and slow. Keep that abdomen engaged to keep your rib cage from flaring up. You don't want a sway in that low back. And try and keep your head still. Don't reach forward with your head like this. You're not going to hit your head if you don't let yourself. Do two more. So that's one. And two. Okay. Next, we're going to do some quadruped rotations. We're going to rotate in the spine. We're going to rotate in the hips. We're going to rotate in the neck to support our head. So, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. I want you to push the floor away as hard as you can with those hands. Push nice and strong, nice flat back. First, we're going to rotate in our mid spine. We're going to reach through. We're going to karate chop on the floor with our left hand. We're going to press into that floor to get a good stretch behind our left shoulder blade. We're going to take that left hand. We're going to drive it up high into the sky and press it to the ceiling, pushing that right arm into the floor as hard as you can. Take the left hand, karate chop. Reach into the ceiling. Karate chop. Reach into the ceiling. Karate chop. Reach into the ceiling. 3 more times. 1. Remember to get pressure on the edge of that hand every time you karate chop through. Remember to keep breathing too. Let's go on the right side. Take your right hand, reach through, karate chop, past your left hand. Drive the floor away as you press your right hand into the ceiling. Long deep breaths. Breathe in as you karate chop. Breathe out as you push up. Breathe in. Breathe out. On these next few sets, breathe in. Breathe out. Because these next few reps, focus on engaging your core. So tuck your tailbone in and really harden those abs. You may feel that it restricts the amount that you can twist. That's okay. It's going to put more of that twist into your upper back. 2 more. 1, 2. Okay, great. Next, we're going to do what I call shin box. And we're going to do a slightly progressed version. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with our butt on the floor, and our knees are going to be turned to our right side. So remember to set up that in that way. Put your feet out about a little bit wider than shoulder width, and then let your knees fall to your right. Now, if I just let my knees fall to my right, I don't have enough mobility in this hip to let that knee drop all the way without my butt coming off the ground. It's okay. Bring the knee all the way down. If that butt has to come up a little bit, that's fine. If you feel that it's a stretch, you can try sitting into it a little bit. If you feel that it's just a hard stop and your body's shape won't let you actually do that, don't force it. Everyone's hips are shaped a little bit differently. So now I've got my knees all bent at about a 90-degree angle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up my knees and I'm going to rotate them the other direction. I'm going to switch again. Just a little extra so that you guys can see me better. And rotate the knees. Rotate the knees. Rotate the knees. And rotate one more time. This time, what you're going to do is you're going to put your hands on the floor to your right. So your knees are facing to the right. You're going to put your hands to the floor to your right. Drive your hands into the floor. Push your chest up high. And give yourself a little extra twist. I'm going to take 5. We're going to rotate the other direction, back to knees facing to the left, and rotate. This rotation of the knees and hips gets you really good at rock climbing moves like drop kneeing. It's really good at driving that hip mobility to do that. We're going to hold this for 4 more breaths. Okay. Next, we're going to do what's called a Prong Squat. So we'll come to a stand. If you have a hard time squatting down real low because of pain, don't go all the way down. If you have a hard time squatting low because you fall backwards, go ahead and grab something that has a little bit of mass to it. You can hold it up in front of you. That will help you keep your chest up without rolling backwards. I'll show you. So in a Prong Squat, we're going to get our feet, want your feet to fall wherever they feel naturally, but a little bit wider, and then put them just a little bit wider than normal. Then you're going to squat down. You're going to sit back like you're sitting into a chair, keeping that chest up real high and ripping those knees apart. Now, some people, when they get in this position, if they don't have a weight, what's going to happen is they're going to fall straight backwards because their hips come tight, their ankles come tight, they don't have the control to keep that chest up high. Once you stay down in this position for a little while, we're going to chill here. We're going to rock back and forth, called prying around. We're working on ankle mobility, climbing. We're working on getting those feet up real high, being able to drive through. We're going to come on out of it. We're going to adjust the feet. We're going to go a little narrower with them. I'm going to come back down nice and low. You don't necessarily need a weight. If you can get down here and it's a good stretch, and you can keep that chest up nice and high without it. Just using it for a good example for you. Prying around, keeping those shins vertical, chest up nice and high. Stand back up. Get those feet nice and wide now, and squat back down. Really focus on pulling those shins out to vertical. Rock those shins over your pinky toes as you rock back and forth and keep that chest up real high. Back and forth. This is probably the hardest one for most of us. Chest up real high. And relax. Come on up. Okay, we're going to do all of those exercises one more time. We're going to start with our shoulder dislocates. If you don't have a band, you can just do regular arm circles as wide as you can make them. That works great too. Rip those hands apart. Shoulder hands behind you. Drive those fists as far from your shoulders as you can. Push away from the center of your circle. 10 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you work on this exercise on your own, the object, especially if you're holding on to a sturdy instrument like a wooden dowel or broom handle, is to be able to get your arms around without bending in the shoulders or bending in the elbows, with your hands narrow. That will improve that shoulder mobility. Don't force it too much. You'll find that over time, you slightly get better and better and better. Really make sure that those shoulders are in good posture when you start them. Okay, next are quad rotations. I'm going to get into our quadruped position, hands under our shoulders, knees under hips. Drive the floor away. Make sure those biceps are facing as far forward as you can. So if you look down at your arms, you see that your biceps are facing each other. Try and turn your biceps forward. That will engage back behind the shoulder. Next, you're going to reach through. Karate chop and reach. We'll do 5 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now on the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, from this position, hold this position, and you're going to take your left leg. You're going to reach your left leg as high out as you can, a little bit, and you're going to bring it back just a little bit. A little hard to see from that direction. Wearing all black. So bring it up and out, and a little bit behind your hips. Almost like, I don't know what you call it. Anyways, we're going to do 10 of them on this leg. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should really feel it in your back pocket. Then we're going to do this to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then in that quadruped position, we're going to do one more exercise. I want you to pay attention to where your head is sitting in this quadruped position. Now, if you feel that you are reaching your face towards the floor, we'll actually practice this first. First, reach your face towards the floor, but always keep your eyes and your face facing exactly at the floor in this exercise until you want to rotate. And bring your head up as high as you can. And do not extend through the neck. I want you to keep your chin tucked as if you're grabbing a grapefruit with your chin and squishing a grapefruit into your chin. As you lift that head up real high. Keep that grapefruit crushed. And then relax. And bring your head back up again. Keep that grapefruit crushed. And relax. Bring the head up real high. Keep that grapefruit crushed. Keep that grapefruit crushed. And as you do that, rotate your head to the right. And then to the left. Do it 5 times each direction. 2, crush the grapefruit as you turn. 3, but keep that head up real high. 4, 5. Okay. That exercise is really good at pulling yourself up nice and high into a better head posture, which will be really nice in that neck for those of us who sit on a computer or are looking kind of down at things like that. All right, we're going to come back to our shin box. We're going to start on our butts. Hips at a little bit under 90 degrees. Knees bent at about 90 degrees. Rotate them down to the right. And as they rotate to the right, what you're going to do now, I want you to lean your weight over that right knee. As you lean that weight over that right knee, I want you to push on that right knee, an ankle, mostly a knee, hard as you can to come up nice and high into a kind of an awkward kneeling lunge position. You might feel a stretch in that left hip. Sit those hips back down. Nice and smooth and slow. Do not flop. Rotate those shins to the left. Drive up onto your left knee. Come on up. Good stretch in through that right hip. On down. Do that 5 times each direction. Now, if you can't rotate with your hands out in front of you, you can lean back like this. Totally okay. 5 times each direction. 1, take a good stretch. Back. Rotate. Up. Take a good stretch. Down. There's 3. You may find that as you do this exercise, you kind of creep forward a little bit. That's totally okay. Don't worry about it. Unless you start missing out on space, then you can scooch backwards a little bit. 4 on this side. As you sit down really smooth and slow, and focus on engaging in the back of your butt, back of your hips. All right. Back to our prong squat. Going to adjust it a little bit. So we're going to start in a standing position. And first we're going to do narrow. Squat down as low as you can. Again, if you need a weight out in front of you, go ahead and grab it. Hug those knees a little bit. Don't let yourself fall backwards. Keep that chest up nice and tall and proud. Grab a weight. Knees and feet narrow. Chest up high. Rock back and forth. Come up a little bit, about halfway. Rock back and forth. Rock forward and back. And stand up. Feet are going to come about shoulder width. Squat down. Elbows can come between your knees. Really take your elbows and pry those knees apart. Rock those knees towards your pinky toes. Really engaged in that low back. Really engaged in the core. Staying nice and high. Rocking all directions to get the ankle mobility, the hip mobility. Stand up. Feet nice and wide. Now as you squat down, I want you to imagine ripping those knees apart to keep them vertical. Only come down as far as you can, keeping a good stretch. Knees prying to the outside, really flexing in those glutes, keeping that chest up nice and high, rocking back and forth. Really a lot more strenuous this position. Come back up. Any of these positions that feel extraordinarily hard for you, maybe not hold them for quite as long. If they feel a little bit easier, maybe either you don't need to work on it as much, or you can work on something that's a little bit more challenging for you. Okay, we're going to start with our next little round of exercises. And what we're going to do is we're going to do another kind of shoulder mobility and strengthener for our external rotators. Do that on our stomach. We're going to do an excellent core engagement activity I call dead bug. We're going to progress it a little bit. So if you grab something that is of a moderate to very lightweight for you, it's going to be coming over our head, but we're going to be lying on our backs. So it does not need to be heavy. Somewhere between 2 and 20 pounds, depending on the person. Some people may not need weight in this activity at all. That's okay. If you have an Nalgene that has some water in it, that's probably perfect. The next exercises we're going to be doing are shoulder shrugs in a plank position. That really good shoulder stability. And then we're going to work on a clamshell type activity to, again, work on those external rotators of the hips. Because as climbers, we tend to get a little bit stronger on the inside of the thigh and not quite as strong on the back of the thigh, or on the back of the hip. Okay, so I'm going to start off with our, what I'm going to call reversed angels, are also a type of fly. Oops, this is actually my way. What you're going to do is you're going to lay down on your stomach. As you lay down on your stomach, I want you to put your hands behind your back. Flush. I want you to take your tailbone, tuck your tailbone into the floor. Flush that abdomen against the floor. You're going to face your face towards the floor. You're going to lift your head just barely off the ground, keeping that abdomen hard and engaged. Next, you're going to take those hands that are behind your back right now. So your thumbs are facing your shoulder blades at this moment. Pull those elbows up nice and high to about horizontal. Keep the abdomen engaged. Bring your hands out to make a T. Your thumbs are still facing back. Once you're in a T, your thumbs roll, so your thumbs are facing forward towards your head. And you're going to take your hands, you're going to put them behind your head, keeping your head off the floor. Keeping that abdomen engaged. You're going to switch again. Take your hands, bring them out to a T. Flip your hands over so your thumbs are facing back. And put your hands on your low back. Okay. When you do this, make sure that you move very carefully and smoothly. This is a control activity and a shoulder engagement activity for now, over, and maybe a little bit of endurance, over a very hard strength activity. This might be very hard. This might feel a little easy. The more intention you put into it and breathing, the more benefit you will get out of it. Okay, so back up. Go ahead and take those hands, lift them off your back. out to a T. Flex that core, flip those hands over, thumbs face up, and reach your hands up on top of your head, keeping that chest off the floor. Reach out wide, hands to a T, flip those hands backwards and put them behind your back. We're going to do 3 more. Flip, put your head, out to a T, flip, on your back. 1, T, flip, head, T, flip, back, T, flip, head, nice and slow, T, flip, back, and relax. All right. Next time we do that exercise, it'll be a little bit different. That's a really, really great mobility exercise and activator for those external rotators of the shoulder. Okay, next, we're going to get into dead bug. So I'm going to show you the progressions of this exercise. You can progress it as far as you feel control. If you start to feel that your body is shaking in this activity, shaking is great, as long as you can keep that low back flush to the floor. So you lay on your back. You can use a weight if you want to. Probably not ready for it yet. Bring your knees up above your hips. I like to have my knees a little bit wider than my hips. Some people will want their knees about hip width or narrower. Just depends. If you have any clicking and popping as you extend your leg in this position, you want to avoid that. So keep your knees narrower if you have clicking when it's wide. Next, your hands are going to be up above your shoulders, just like such. And you want this low back flush against the floor. If you have a partner, you can put a towel under your belly button and have them tug on it. If they can take the towel easily or without much force, then your low back is coming off the floor like this. Notice I can stick my hand underneath. If you're pressing that towel against the floor as hard as you can, they won't be able to take it quite as easily. So, hands are going to be up in the air. Knees are going to be over your hips or just a little bit out. And what you're first going to try and do is just tap the ground with each of your 4 appendages. First your arms, and then what is harder for me, the legs. Keeping that low back flush against the floor. You're going to do it again. That's great. Nice and smooth and slow. Okay, next, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and touch the ground with opposites. So if I'm reaching, when I start reaching with my right hand, I'm also going to then reach with my left foot. So I'm up in position, pressing that low back flat against the floor, reaching with the left hand, the right hand and the left foot. Bring it back, and as I do that, I'm keeping my opposite arm and leg perfectly still. I'm going to reach with the right leg and left arm, and bring it back. If this is easy for you, you can reach out farther. For instance, you can reach as far as you can without this low back coming off the floor. If you feel that this pelvis position is breaking as you reach, and you're reaching too far, you should ride that line now of what makes you shake just a little bit and then come back. Reaching opposites is going to be a coordination exercise. We're going to keep doing this for a little while. It's a coordination exercise for engaging your abdomen while doing other activities. Very applicable to our sport. A stable braced core will help stop you from barn dooring off the wall. It will give control to all of your movements. And if you watch some of the best climbers in the gym, most of them will have stable and controlled cores. you see some of the strongest climbers in the gym that aren't the best climbers. They will probably have loose cores and not be engaging very well in their abdomen and showing very good stability through their whole body. Keep alternating, keep breathing. And relax. Okay. Next, we're going to do plank shrugs. So we're going to flip over into a plank. We're going to be working on our shoulder. And what we want to encourage is taking that shoulder, bringing it down and back, and having that shoulder blade move up and down in that single planar motion. What we don't want is we don't want our shoulder shrugging up into our ear, because then we're overactivating those muscles on the neck. That get real sore. Or that might get real sore. If you ever struggle from neck pain after a hard workout, it could be shoulder position. So locking that shoulder down with your lats, turning that bicep up, and then we're going to shrug in that position in a plank or a bear crawl position, your choice. So get back into a plank. Nice hard plank. I'm going to shrug my shoulders down and drive up high. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, hold it, up, hold it, and relax. That's simple. Okay. Next, we're going to work on our clamshell position. And this is really great for that external rotation of the hip, which is really good for exercises like heel hooking. And I guess, Tony, anytime that you need to engage the back of that butt, but that knee needs to come out, or if you need to stand tall on a foot and pull out on it with your knee up to the side. So we're going to come up into the clamshell. Our elbow's going to be on the floor. Again, you don't want that shoulder shrugging into your ear. You want to stand nice and tall on it. Knees are going to be halfway between belt line and straight, so about 45 off of your belt line. And yeah, feet are going to be together. So what you're going to do is you're going to lean forward a little bit, drive your weight into, if you're on your right side, drive your weight into your right knee to get those hips up nice and high. You're going to come back down. Try not to weight that shin at all. Drive the weight into your right knee, come back down. You do 10 of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it on 10. And come down. All right, we're going to flip sides so that we're on our left arm. Line it up so that we are at about a 45. Make sure to drive that elbow into the floor to keep the shoulder posture nice and healthy, so ribs are going to stay high off the floor. We're not going to let it sag. I'm going to come up. Those knees can separate. And as you come up, those hips should also come forward, so you're locking out the glutes. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and hold 10. Locking out those glutes, keeping those hips forward and proud. And set down nice and smooth. Great. Then we come back to our stomachs. Laying down on the floor. I promise the next round of exercises will be a little bit more movement, maybe a little more interesting. Okay, so this one's going to get a little bit harder in a different way. So as we're laying on the floor, tuck that tailbone in. We're going to start with our hands on our head. We're going to reach out into a Y, and we're going to raise our hands. We're going to tap the floor with our middle finger only, and we're going to raise our hands as high as we can. Tap the floor, come back up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Then you're going to bring your hands to 90, so that you're making a field goal with your arms. And we're going to do the same exercise there. So, but in this one, I want you to lift your elbows up, and we're going to rotate those hands back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep those hands up, and keeping your arms in that bent position. You're going to lift those elbows to the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the next exercise we're going to do is we're going to reach those hands straight up to the side. We're going to put our thumb down and really pull back on those shoulder blades to make sure that those shoulders are not shrugging to our ears. So bring those shoulders, actually, to feel the wrong position, try and touch your shoulders to your ears. To feel the right position, pull the shoulders as far from your ears as possible. Your hands might even need to move down a bit. Once your shoulders are pulled down as far as possible, your thumbs are on the floor. Raise those hands off the floor as high as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn those thumbs up. Keep those shoulders in the same position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Back to our dead bug. Here's where you may grab your weight. If somewhere in that last progression of your dead bug you found some significant difficulty, stick with it for a little bit. Don't add the weight yet. If you can't extend your like one arm and one leg to the floor without that core breaking, work on that. Then we'll add a little bit of weight. If that last exercise was kind of easy for you, we're gonna grab weight. And everyone's gonna be in a different position, so there's no shame or expectation for where you should be. Rather, pick where you're at now and try and improve upon it. All right, so in your dead bug position, if you've got a 5 to 20-ish pound weight, I actually recommend 15 pounds for most people. This is 18. Knees up, hands up. Now, if you've got your hands, go ahead and start just your hands. Go ahead and start marching with your hands and legs, back and forth until I say stop. If you've got the weight, reach with one leg and touch the ground with the weight. And come back. Reach with one leg. The longer the lever, the harder this is on that abdomen. So lengthen out that left leg if you want to make it a little bit harder. 2, 3. Keep going. Continuous movement. Focus on being able to breathe through this. Keep breathing nice and long and even. Don't let that core break. and relax. Okay. We come back to the plank shrugs. We're going to do 10 of them. Really working on drawing those shoulders down and back. This time I'm going to do mine in a bear crawl position. Set those shoulders down and back. Knees up off the floor and shrug. Let those shoulder blades come up. Chest towards the floor. Chest up high. Chest towards the floor. Chest up high. Chest towards the floor. Chest up high. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, good work. All right. Go ahead and grab a drink of water real quick. Sip of coffee, whatever you need. We have one more round of exercises to do. One more set of rounds of exercise. And then we'll be done for today. And again, if any time you guys have questions, feel free to shout on the chat box. You can ask me questions on Instagram. I think my Instagram handle is Rock Wars with 2 Z's. Okay, so go ahead and grab whatever you're using to slide across the floor. I'm going to use a frisbee on the floor. If you're on a hard surface, use a towel or a sock. Should work pretty well. Now, this is going to be kind of similar to a Pong Squat, as in we're going down. As you squat down, we're going to start with our slider in the left leg. As you squat down, your weight's going to be primarily over that right leg. So I want that shin to remain vertical. And I want both feet, I want the inside edges of your feet to always be parallel in this exercise. So if you look down during the first one, make sure that your feet are facing the same direction. So the chest is now going to come up nice and high. Shin is pulling that knee to the outside and then coming back up. Going down as far as you feel comfortable and come back up. Do 5 of them. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Switch sides. Left shin vertical. Right leg is reaching out. Reach out. 1. Check to make sure that your feet are parallel. And bring that chest back up high, but down. 3, 4, 5. Good work. All right. We're going to do some push-ups. When I do push-ups, I like to maintain quality. Like this is true with just about every exercise. Quality is much more important than quantity when we're talking about building strength and control. So when we get into our push-up position, we're going to find a number that we know is below, slightly below where we start to break form. So let's say we break form at about 7. I'm going to choose 5. If you break form at 5 or 3, choose 1 or 2 under that. If you can barely do 1 push-up, then you try as hard as you can to do that 1 push-up. If you can't do a push-up, here's what I recommend. I recommend going down as slowly through the entire exercise as you can. If you can't lift yourself back up off the ground, that's okay. Use your knees to come back up. Come up through a child's pose, whatever you need. And then do a nice, strict, smooth lower all the way through. So, into our push-up position. I'm going to choose doing 5. We're going to rest briefly, and then we're going to do it again. And I'll show you what's next. So, do our push-ups nice and smooth. Perfect control. Shoulders down and back. We're going to rest briefly. I'm going to do 5 more push-ups, except I'm going to slightly switch the style of push-up I was doing. I was doing almost a yoga style push-up, not very strict. Then I'm going to do a slightly wider push-up. Go ahead. Keep that core engaged the whole time. If you're feeling a little fatigued after that set, you can drop your number down a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to try a slightly narrower push-up, a little bit more strict into the yoga style. Go ahead. Remember to breathe through all of your exercises. Okay. This next exercise is a little weird and a little bit challenging. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into a boat, and we're going to roll like a low boat or a full boat. We're going to roll onto our stomach, then try to roll back into a boat without ever touching our knees, feet, elbows, or hands to the floor. So actually, move this way so you can see better. Start off in a boat, reaching with my arms and legs. I'm going to roll. I'm not going to touch my knees, elbows. Try and keep my shoulders off the ground too. But I'm going to roll back onto my back. Get onto your stomach and do a Superman. Roll into a boat. All right. Let's do that 3 more times. 1. Nice and smooth. Do Superman, hold it. And do a boat. Into a Superman. Into a boat. Into a Superman. Into a boat. This is all about core control. 1 more time each direction. Into a Superman. Into a boat. Into a Superman. Into a boat. And rest. All right. I'm actually going to do an offset 1-arm row. So pick up a weight that is moderately heavy for you, but you can control in this setting. For most people, this probably starts around 20 to 35 pounds-ish, depending on the person. As long as you can support this using your hips. We're actually going to get into a forward hinge. If you feel comfortable in a deadlift position, that's kind of our base. If you also feel comfortable stepping one leg back, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do an offset stance, single arm row. So I'm going to lean over into a good hinged position, nice flat back, bend the knees to pick up my weight. Set that shoulder down and back. Use my hands to make sure that I'm at even heights. I'm going to pull back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend the knees to set the weight back down. Come back up. Step that right leg back. Pick up your weight. Get nice and square. Roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set your weight down. All right, we're going to go through those 4 exercises 1 more time. your adductor slide. You go 5 out to the side. As you drag back in, make sure that you're really firing on the inside of that sliding foot. Reach out with that left leg, slide it in. Reach out with that left leg, slide it in. 3, 4, chest up high. 5, go the other way. Down as low as you can. 2, 3, 4, 5. Work. All right, so those push-ups. Take our time in these. You can grab it. All right. We're going to do 3 sets of the number we choose. If that last set was a little easy, go ahead and bump up the number. If that last set was a little hard, either keep it the same or bump it down 1. All right, go ahead. We're going to do, I would say, between whatever you can do and 7, and then rest. And we'll do 3 rounds of that before moving on to the next exercise. Go ahead. And go for your next set. I've been asked, can you change the number that you do in each set? If you can't do 5 every time, but you can do 5 one time, can you do 5, 4, 3, or 5, 3, 2, or 2, 3, 5? Absolutely, that's great. That's great. So you build in the volume over time. That's great. So go ahead and get down to your last set. All right. We're going to do our rolls. Well, this time we're going to start in Superman. Go 5 each way. Start in Superman, roll the boat. Roll Superman. Back to boat. Back to Superman. Back to boat. Back to Superman. Back to boat. Back to Superman. I think that's 2. Keep everything nice and strong and engaged. Keep rolling. Boat. Superman. Last one. Roll. Roll again. Back to boat. Hold it. Back to Superman. Hold it. And relax. All right, let's come back to our 1-arm row. This time last time we were a little bit strict, and we were intentionally not rotating, we were just pulling up. This time, I'm going to allow you to rotate through that mid-spine so that we can get the whole body a little bit more moving a little bit more through the exercise. So go ahead and pick up your weight, lock that shoulder down and back. This time, as you pull, that shoulder can come up. Shoulder can go down, shoulder can come up. You only do this if you have your original row mastered. You only do this through range of motion, but you are working on stability and strength. So notice I'm pausing at the end range of each one. Build control in those positions. 5, come back to square, step the weight down. Do it the other way now. Step that left foot back, grab it in your left hand, anyway, over, down, up. I'm going to do 5. Back to square, set it down. Okay. So, good work today, guys. If you ever have questions, feel free to shout out. Let me know. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday. Thanks for joining me or looking back to find this. You guys have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.